6 out of 6 has been an incredible effort from the Indian team so far. And however much we celebrate Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and some of KL Rahul's efforts, if you really deep dive, it has been the Indian bowling that has stood up. And it has been an all-round collective effort from our bowlers. Take the first match against Australia. It was the bowlers who set it up against a very good Australian batting attack. Kuldeep Yadav, for example, was stellar. Jasprit Bumrah has been brilliant all World Cup. And thereafter in the match against New Zealand, Mohammed Shami came into his own. Ravindra Jadeja has been superb right through. As the World Cup has progressed, the Indian bowling attack, Bumrah, Shami, Kuldeep, Jadeja and Mohammad Siraj, not to forget Hardik Pandya when he was playing, have looked the most potent. And that is what is making India and Rohit Sharma's team the runaway favourites going into the knockout stages of this competition. Here's what we have seen so far, and that's what we celebrate with pictures and comments from legends who have spoken about our bowlers. Take a listen.
Jasprit Bumrah is a wonderful bowler. Very, very different than any other fast bowlers I've seen. Very, very unorthodox, but highly effective. And yes, to answer your question, when you're coming back from an injury after a long layoff, it's always concerning for the bowler because you don't want to get injured again. And in the back of your mind, you don't want to go flat out too soon or too quick. So it's always a bit of concern in the back of your mind. So I reckon when Bumrah does come back, he'll be an asset to the India bowling lineup. And my advice to him would be to take it a little bit slowly. Don't rush back into it or try to go flat out from day one. Obviously, he will have some practice sessions, maybe some games before, but it's always important to take it on a slower basis, build up into it, and then when you're really comfortable, then you can go flat out. But it's not a wise thing to go flat out from ball one, because in the back of your mind, you don't want to be hurt again.
My current opinion on Jasprit Bumrah, we all know that Jasprit Bumrah is one of the finest fast bowlers that every single one wants to watch it perform. But from my point of view, and as a player coming out from the injury, all you need to do, you need to use your brain, use your experience. Don't try to be a hero from day one. You might go back to your injury. Try and get, groove yourself, into becoming that super fit man that we know. That's my only advice to Justin. He mustn't look the injuries. Yes, they put him backwards, but now he needs to grind himself to get to the best of his, as everybody knows it, so that when the final comes, he's on top of his form.
यार इसमें कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है. आप जितना रिपीट करेंगे, आप अपने स्किल को, आप अपने आप को जितना ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस में रखेंगे ऑफ द फील्ड भी. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि जब सीरीज चल रही होती है तो हम प्रैक्टिस में कंटिन्यू होते हैं, जब हम घर जाते हैं तो वापस थोड़ा ब्रेक दे देते हैं अपने आप को, तो वो रिदम कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा स्लो हो जाता है. तो बहुत जरूरी होता है कि जब आप घर जा रहे हैं, जब आप ब्रेक पे जा रहे हैं, तो आपका प्रैक्टिस रहे, कंटिन्यू आपका ट्रेनिंग शेड्यूल चलता रहे. तो वो एक मेन पॉइंट है. दूसरी चीज क्या है कि आप अपने स्किल को आप कितना सीरियस लेते हैं. जब आप सीरीज से ऑफ लेकर जाते हैं, आप जब घर पे होते हैं, जब आपको रेस्ट दिया जाता है, तो आप कितने सीरियस हैं, आप कितना वर्क करते हैं आपकी स्किल पर और आपकी स्ट्रोक बॉल पर. तो मैं हमेशा वही करता हूँ, जैसे मैंने अपना आपको बताया भी है कि मैंने अपना प्रैक्टिस सेटअप कर रखा है. मैं जितना चाहूँ कर सकता हूँ, और जितनी देर करना अपना मन 100% लगाकर करना.
Who's been out of the game. He's worked on his action. He's slightly a little higher. He's not falling away, or that front arm's not falling away as much. He's coming down more. That front arm's coming down more vertically. That's getting more revolutions on the ball. He's getting a little bit more drift as well. So he's creating a little bit of trouble. I think Rohit Sharma captains him well. And I just think there's that resilience in him. He's a fighter. I absolutely love the way he's gone about it. I love the way that he's come back in that team and just performed straight away. And I think he'll play a big part in the World Cup. I really do. And you've got that option. So there's certain teams that he's going to do well against, and there's certain teams that you might think, right, we might go with Chahar apart from Kuldeep Yadav in this. And I'm looking at Australia there. Who would I bowl, Chahar or Kuldeep Yadav against Australia? I'd actually go Kuldeep Yadav, because he bowls attacks the stumps, and it brings the wrong end into the game. Whereas Chahar, he's turning away, and you can sort of sit on him and play through that point region. And if you're slightly over pitch, you can hit him straight. Whereas Kuldeep's he's harder to play on both sides of the wicket.
There is spring in his legs, and that is what I like to see. His run up, you can see, is full of energy, and he's one of those bowlers. When you look at him, you cannot figure out whether it's the first over of the day or it's the last over of the day, because he's coming at you all the time, and that is what I like. He's a proper fast bowler, and his body language, he's so positive. That is what I like. He is a fast learner.
Bowling wins cricket matches, and so far Rohit Sharma's team have been able to prove that. Even when New Zealand had run away to a very good start, 150 for 2, the bowlers came back and contained them for 270 odd. Australia under 200, Pakistan under 200, and in the last game against England, after India had scored 229, to win by 100 runs has been a telling statement from the bowling unit. If we think back, even in the 2019 World Cup, in the semi-final that India lost, the bowlers had done the job. They had contained New Zealand for a score that was very manageable. Can the bowlers, led by Bumrah and Shami, and of course Jadeja and Kuldeep, step up in the knockout stages? Can they push the bar and redeem the 10-year-long gap that we have now seen that India hasn't won an ICC trophy? Can we see our bowlers lead Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and the batting attack to a degree of protection? Can they set it all up, or can they defend what the batters put up? From what we've seen so far, we are all hopeful. This is perhaps the best bowling attack that India has had in a long time. So far from evidence, they are the most potent. But the last 15 days of the World Cup will decide their real legacy. Hopefully, they will stand up to the test.